with the technologies. And that's a direction that I think we are already starting. I'm doing a piece of work with Al Kazniak. Where is Al? There's Al. Al Kazniak at the University of Arizona, and I and another colleague of mine, Jake Walbrook at my information school, are working with a Zen teacher, a woman named Darlene Cohen, who wrote this wonderful little book called The One Who Is Not Busy, which is about training in how to be not busy at the same time that one is busy in the workplace. And we're actually doing an initial pilot study where at this very moment we're training HR professionals. Darlene is training them in San Francisco, and we're testing them in multitasking before and after to see whether we can actually show some real difference in their efficiency, their productivity, but also their sense of well-being and so on. So these are just directions that I think are right there for us to move toward in this very exciting time. Obviously, none of these things are just confined to higher education, but clearly all of them belong in higher education because that's where the technologies are playing such a vital role with people who are just in the process of learning what it is to be a full human being, a critical time. So that's what I came here to tell you. The rest of the time I'll be listening to all of you. I do truly think that this is an absolutely wonderful time to be doing this sacred work, and I think it truly is sacred. Learning how to better align head, heart, and hand. And as both Arthur and Philip have said, we really need one another. I certainly need you in this practice. I need you to support me in the loneliness, to inspire me, and also to teach me. And I'm looking forward to having those opportunities with you over this weekend. Thank you very much.
Yes, let's just take about 10 or 15 minutes for questions, and then we'll move to the looking forward to the next day's work.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. I enjoyed the talk very much. And I especially appreciate the Adobe reference. It sounds terrific. Run out
it really is.
Order for class.
How do you spell it again?
H-A-D-O-T, Pierre Adot, H-A-D-O-T. And the book is here if you want to come have a look at it. Thank you.
My question is, I guess, is about what the history surrounding the things that you've been discussing can tell us about where we're going. And I especially in terms of the modernity and industrialism and the embodied contemplative, right, those two realms, how they fit together. My understanding is that they can fit together in a variety of ways, and that we've had this fairly regular succession of anti-modern movements, you know, since Carlyle and the British Romanticists, and that combination plays out in a variety of ways. And one thing, it's been a while since I've read it, but Jackson Lear's No Place of Grace is a really nice book that looks at a series of these movements in the late 19th century. And his basic conclusion is that almost regardless of how autonomous and how strong the movements were to start, they tend to become accommodationist, become co-opted, and in the end to end up supporting industrialism. So, you know, Teddy Roosevelt comes to mind, right? Romanticism, wilderness, men leave their jobs and they go out to the wilderness, they become stronger and more manly, and they carry that back to the corporate boardroom or to the military or whatever, and, you know, proceed. So I guess, you know, you mentioned Intel, and I guess I'm not completely sure that in the end is a good thing that Intel is that interested in this stuff, because they have enormous power to shape, I think, not for people in dispute property, but I think in a more popular sense, how these things play out. So I guess my question is, how, and it baffles me, but how do we know the difference between these different strains? How do we work with them? How do we try to push it in the right direction in the midst of these larger social conjunctions?
And you think I have an answer? No, I don't have a clue. I'll be interested to know if somebody else has a better answer than I'm about to give. I fully recognize the concerns that you're raising, and I share them. No question about it. Anything can be co-opted and brought in to the dominant movement. My hope, first of all, I don't know what else to do other than what I'm already trying to do. And my hope is that this dimension that we're calling the contemplative is actually powerful and subversive enough that it can survive the introduction into Intel and Microsoft and whatever else. And certainly that it has the potential to transform individuals in those organizations. I mean, my experience with corporate life, admittedly, I worked in a think tank, so I was on the edge of Xerox. But my sense is that every corporation today, no matter what trouble they're causing in the world, has really good-hearted, caring people in it who themselves are trying to figure out what to do. So to the extent that we can strengthen them through some of this, that's a good thing. And the possibility is that other people will come to see more. But I don't have a larger answer. Does somebody else want to try to take on this question? I'm sure we all recognize it. Oh, yes, Richard.
I'm a retired high school math teacher, and I'm thinking about the fads that have come and gone, like the new mathematics that many of us may be familiar with. And it was developed by a group of academics. And then teachers were brought in to do workshops, but it wasn't who they were. And so it's come and gone. It wasn't organic to the institutions that were supposedly trying to do it. And I think that one of the basic questions is if this movement is going to succeed, who is going to deliver it? It's not going to be 100 people. It's going to take a lot of people. And these people can't be people who are trained in faculty development sessions. They have to be people who really understand this. And so I think a key question is, how many people are in the academy now that know what this is about and are in hiding? And what conditions would bring them out?
Thank you, Richard. Yes?
Is it okay to move on to a new question?
Fine with me.
I don't know hardly anyone in this room. I'm Nathaniel, public health grad student from Brown, so I look forward to meeting a lot of you. My question is about the phrase human capital. It's getting a lot of play, and on the one hand, it sounds like commodified, monetized unit of human worth, but I'm wondering if you think that there's room within that meme for some of the fruits of contemplative development to sort of squeeze into.